I never saw him get rattled. I never saw him lose his composure.
The Commodores fired back with Matthews, the league's leading rusher.
He was the core of the basketball team that turned that program around.
Catching, tees up a three and hit.
George Pitt's strength as a coach was connecting with us.
People respected him for who he was and what he did.
If the ball went up, so did Ronnie.
When it came time to win, you knew you could count on Joe. Success followed him wherever he went.
A guy that was going to do everything he could to make himself the best he could possibly be.
And he laughed all the way to the bucket.
He's a person that goes above and beyond in the community.
His impact was felt everywhere he went.
The coaches in the stands would just say, "Can we see Priscilla jump?"
He could pass and he could shoot as good as a guard.
This dude here was so electric with the football in his hands.
He truly does maximize everybody's potential.
It's intercepted by De'On Grant.
Welcome to the 2025 Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame induction special presented by the Tennessee Lottery. With Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame Executive Director Brad Willis, I'm Mike Keith. It's the 60th class of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame that will be inducted on Saturday, July 19th. 60th year, you got to do something special.
We do. It's supersized. 20 inductees from all across the state, and we're excited about every single one of them.
Well, we better get busy.
We should.
All right, let's start with the newest Tennessee Titan to be inducted, Derek Mason.
I think most of us spend our lives either trying to prove somebody right or prove somebody wrong, especially athletes. And that's the thing I saw about Derek Mason. I think he was trying to prove people wrong all his life. He was a little guy. In high school, you're not going to play much. I did. In college, you're not going to play much. He did. He got to the NFL. He was small. He'd get hit. And I think, good gracious, he's not going to get up, but he would. He was always trying to prove himself, and that was just the beauty of Derek Mason.
Derek was a courageous, brave player, very intelligent player. He did a lot for us. I still remember the AFC Championship game in Jacksonville when he ran back a kick to kind of ice the game.
He kind of slipped in. You know, you really didn't understand the importance that he was going to have in a lot of what we were doing, not only offensively, but, you know, to start out with field position. This dude here was so electric with the football in his hands.
This just in. Derek Mason was the one who was going to come down with it, and that really says it all about his great NFL career.
His mindset, you know, when I used to talk to him, he's just like, Sean, I want to leave a legacy. I want to be a game changer. I want to be a change agent. You know, as his friend, I looked up to him, is that I took that same attitude and said, you know what, I'm going to apply it in my life.
Derek is the guy with his infectious laugh that just makes you feel good about yourself. Yeah, he'll laugh at almost anything I say. I might go, boo, and he'll just laugh. I guarantee he's laughing right now. Look at him. You see? So that's who Derek is.
From football to basketball, Knoxville's own Elston Turner played at Austin East and then at Ole Miss and then in the NBA, and now he's a coach in the National Basketball Association. Basketball has been his life, and he's one of the best. That's why he is a 2025 Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame inductee.
Elston played high school basketball at Austin East High School. We were so dominant because of the person that Elston was and the leader that he was on that particular team, being ranked #1 in the state of Tennessee, winning the state championship.
I believe that Elston easily is one of the top 5 basketball players in the history of Ole Miss. But I know that he's the greatest defensive player ever.
Won the SEC championship with Ole Miss and led them to their first NCAA tournament appearance. From there, Coach Turner was drafted second round NBA by the Dallas Mavericks. After his NBA career, his first coaching job was with the Portland Trail Blazers.
When I think about E.T.'s leadership style, not being rattled, and always having an answer, always having a solution, he's meant the world to our organization and for me as a coach.
Like between the lines, whether it be practice, he's been defensive coordinator, he's been offensive coordinator, he's done everything that you can do. And so for me, I was always like, see the blind spots because you have so much experience, and he's just able just to pop stuff off so quickly at such a high level. He's just terrific.
He's a person that goes above and beyond in the community. He also has a camp each year at Austin East High School where he gives all the proceeds back. He does some instrumental things in the community even up to this day.
Our next inductee is another Knoxville native, Chris Woodruff, tennis player extraordinaire, high school, college at the University of Tennessee as a pro, and now as a coach. Congratulations to Chris Woodruff, 2025 inductee into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
And look, Tennessee's had some great players through the years. They've had great All-Americans, but they've only had one guy that won the NCAA singles championship. And when you talk about tennis in Knoxville or the Knoxville area, it's hard to have that conversation without mentioning Chris Woodruff. Chris did not play that much on his Bearden High School team because he was playing in a lot of national tournaments.
So by the time he was 16, he had gotten his size, and he really moved up quickly in the national rankings.
He goes to the University of Tennessee. He wins the NCAA singles championship his sophomore year.
The winner of the NCAA singles championship also got a entry into the U.S. Open, and so he played his first professional match at the U.S. Open. He had to decide before the first match whether he was going to play it as an amateur or as a pro.
One of my fondest memories is watching him win match after match after match by hitting a winner. Jim Courier called him the fastest guy in the tennis court that he'd ever seen at one point.
He's come back to Knoxville and is now the head coach, and he's done an amazing job with the guys. He truly does maximize everybody's potential. His biggest strength as a coach is his expectations. His expectations are incredibly high. I'm not sure if I ever met them in my 4 years at Tennessee, but I see that as a good thing because his expectations of myself is higher than what I expect and demand for myself, and those are the type of people you want around you.
The next inductee is simply amazing. In the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, 4 Olympic gold medals, regarded as one of the best to ever play for Pat Summitt. Congratulations, Tamika Catchings, a part of the 2025 class of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Tamika Catchings was part of the Three Meeks. The Three Meeks. The Three Meeks. Tamika Catchings from Duncanville, Texas. She went to Duncanville High School. Outstanding high school player, came to the University of Tennessee. You know, everybody was so excited about the recruiting class that Pat was bringing in, and Tamika Catchings was one of the centerpieces of that class, actually the centerpiece. Tamika is considered by so many as the best all-around basketball player.
Catchings tees up a three and hits.
Who do you want representing? Who do you want to be the face of your program? It's Tamika Catchings. Her time at UT, that era with her and Shamiqua Holesclaw and Samika Randall, the Three Meeks, that was a special moment in time for women's basketball.
Tamika Catchings was a fierce competitor, was outstanding on the defensive end at the University of Tennessee. Tamika's freshman year was magical. We went undefeated, 39-0. We won the national championship. Probably the toughest game that she had to play was against her sister. That Illinois game, it was almost our only loss of the season. I think Tamika let out the biggest sigh of relief, not knowing that we go undefeated, but the fact that she didn't have to take a bunch of crap off her sister. She went on to play in the WNBA for the Indiana Fever, won a championship there, was the league's MVP, was the Defensive Player of the Year, and was just one of the best to play the game at the professional level.
The 2025 Tennessean of the Year is presented by the Tennessee Lottery. And we're proud to announce that Barry Butch Wilmore is our Tennessean of the Year. Captain Wilmore spent 286 days in space, returning in late March 2025 after he was only scheduled to be in space for a little less than 9 days. An American hero, Butch Wilmore, congratulations, our 2025 Tennessean of the Year.
Over the years, we've handed out some pretty large checks, but none have been bigger than the ones we've paid to the Order of the Students in the great state we call home. The Tennessee Lottery, proud to have raised more than $7.5 billion for education. Now that's some game-changing, life-changing fun.
Where we're from, every note tells a story. Our identity in action. Where we're from, it's not just any place. We're from the Volunteer State.
He shoots, and he scores!
It's a stunning vista right here. I mean, you're looking out over a landscape that almost doesn't even look real. It's a total escape. I mean, it feels like you're close to heaven.
The Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame congratulates its 2025 Professional Athlete of the Year, Reed Blankenship, safety, Philadelphia Eagles. Blankenship was an outstanding collegiate player at Middle Tennessee State University before fighting his way into the starting lineup with Philadelphia. And this past February, he became a world champion as the Eagles defeated the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame's 2025 Professional Athlete of the Year, Reed Blankenship. Welcome back to the 2025 induction special for the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame presented by the Tennessee Lottery. Our next inductee, two-time Olympic gold medalist, Pro Hockey Hall of Fame, but better known to Predators fans as the Captain. Congratulations to our newest inductee, Shea Weber.
After seeing him as an 18-year-old walk up to the podium,
he was on the radar quickly. He rose up through the ranks so fast.
You know, we had a lot of stars for this team. You know, some came here for a year or two before they were there, but I really think that Shea was the first homegrown star that we had.
He leaves without really having to say a whole lot. He's not a guy that likes to talk about himself, but his actions are how he leads.
But he was a savage. He went on the ice and he was running guys through the boards. He could skate. He had one of the hardest shots I'd ever seen.
You cannot discuss Shea Weber without discussing the shot. Nobody was tougher to play against than Shea Weber.
Nobody wanted to play against Shea Weber.
It's almost as if every player in the league looked at him as, gosh, I wish I was playing with him, not against him.
He'd go out and he'd punish people. He was just relentless as a competitor.
But then he backed that up with such a large investment in forming the 365 fund with Pecorine, and that set the tone for our organization and how we work with the community.
Shea, his resume speaks for himself, obviously on the ice, but I think as the cliche goes, he's even a better person.
Our next inductee was an outstanding running back at Vanderbilt who became an outstanding assistant coach at the University of Tennessee. And for the last 35 years, he's been on the radio talking ball with football fans all over the Volunteer State. Congratulations to our next inductee, the coach, Doug Matthews.
Doug Matthews came to Vanderbilt having played junior college football, and they immediately put him in the defensive secondary. When Doug was a senior, he got moved to tailback. And in the 1 year, he led the SEC in rushing.
The Commodores fired back with Matthews, the league's leading rusher, getting 27 yards to the Tennessee 6.
Graduates, then he gets into coaching and ends up at the University of Tennessee for 11 years.
Coach Matthews was our running backs coach and also our special teams coach. We're at Alabama, that's our rivalry. 85, this game's gonna have a big bearing on who's gonna win the SEC. Late in the ball game, we're up 2, and all we gotta do is punt, we're good, right? Snap it, we hear the thud of the ball, bad punt, okay? They're getting the ball out in their midfield, they just need a field goal to win, and I'm looking over at our sideline, just chaos. And I just remember seeing Coach Matthews in the port in the storm, trying to get everybody right over there, which is exactly who he is.
Short by about 5 yards. The Volunteers have defeated Alabama.
To Coach Doug Matthews, all your former players want to congratulate you on your induction into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. We're proud of you. Well done.
How many people can say that their high school success, their college success, and their pro sports success was all in the same state? Well, this 2025 inductee did all of that in Tennessee, at Ray County, with the University of Tennessee, and with the Nashville Cats. I'm talking about quarterback Andy Kelly, a 2025 inductee into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
I had the great fortune of recruiting Andy Kelly from Ray County High School, and we were able to bring this really strong young man to the University of Tennessee, and our offensive football team just took off.
Andy came in, knew the offense, he knew the adjustments, he knew everybody else's assignment. We didn't miss a beat.
Kelly to throw, pass down and out, caught by Pickens. He battles for a first down. He frees himself. Touchdown!
He could make every throw. He had the ability to match wits with any defensive coordinator in the country, and with Andy, you were able to adjust whatever you needed to adjust to make a play.
Kelly back to throw, looking into the end zone. Man is there. Touchdown, Big Orange!
I never saw him get rattled. I never saw him lose his composure. Even in the biggest games, he always stayed calm, and I admired that about him.
Really what you want to lead your football team, that kind of young man.
Andy Kelly, all-time leader in completions, yardage, touchdown passes. His career on this field is done, and listen to the ovation.
He went on to have a good career at the pro level, to play in the Arena League.
The Nashville Cats were the hot item right then, and in that condensed arena, it was a whole different dynamic. But he adjusted and became one of the best for a long period of time, leading them to championships every year.
Andy's qualities, his leadership, his command of the huddle, one of my favorite quarterbacks ever to play with.
Our next inductee was one of Philip Fulmer's most important recruits in the 1990s. A big play safety who helped key a great defense on Tennessee's 1998 national championship team. I'm talking about a native of Augusta, Georgia, who played for the Big Orange and wore number 7, Deion Grant.
Deion Grant, an amazing talent, a guy that was smart on and off the field, and you knew you could count on game days.
He was a hell of an athlete.
It's intercepted by Deion Grant.
Deion's ability and intelligence gave us a chance to be very creative in the secondary, and that ability and his range to make a play really helped us be the defense that we became.
The one thing he could do was go from sideline to sideline on deep balls.
Anytime that ball was in the air, we knew it was a great chance that Deion was going to come down with that pass.
A lot of time, deep down the middle, man open, intercepted! The ball underthrown, and Deion Grant picked it off with the one-handed interception. Unbelievable play.
Great career, 12 years in the NFL, won a national championship with the University of Tennessee.
And to go on and win a Super Bowl, there's not many players that can say that in this world, so that's a tribute to him as a player, but also as a person.
Deion had a great personality, great character young man.
He's one of those guys that'll give you shirt off his back. He's always been that way.
Deion, man, you are one of the best athletes I've ever had an opportunity to be on the field with. I want you to know that. Congrats.
Klein back, flips it out. It's intercepted first play. That's going to be a touchdown, Tennessee. Read it perfectly. He picked it off. Touchdown, Deion Grant.
When the 2025 Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame induction special presented by the Tennessee Lottery continues, a heavy dose of West Tennessee. We're headed to Memphis next.
You can pick your numbers, or your numbers can pick you. Cash 3 and Cash 4, only from the Tennessee Lottery.
Dream, 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 dream. Whenever I want to, all I have to do is dream, 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 dream.
Welcome to the land of the free, where we pledge allegiance to the flag, salute racing's rich history, and raise a drink for the new gladiators who dare take on the last great Coliseum. The Bass Pro Shops Night Race NASCAR Playoff Weekend returns to Bristol Motor Speedway September 11th through the 13th. Get a weekend package at a camping spot and make it a weekend to remember. It's not just a night race, it's Bristol, baby.
People in Tennessee are starting a movement.
Ouch. Thank you.
To clean up the litter on our roadways. Litter hurts our environment and endangers wildlife, and it affects our quality of life.
Here, grab me. Thank you.
Help keep our state litter-free.
Let's roll.
Visit NobodyTrashesTennessee.com and be a part of the solution to end littering.
Saving the best for last.
That's right. Nobody trashes Tennessee.
It's a stunning vista right here. I mean, you're looking out over a landscape that almost doesn't even look real. It's a total escape. I mean, it feels like you're close to heaven.
The Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame is proud to name our 2025 Amateur Athletes of the Year, presented by the TSSAA. First, Olivia Reeves from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Olivia Reeves captured a gold medal in weightlifting at the Paris Olympics. And Seth Hennigan, Memphis quarterback, who started every game that he appeared in and led the Memphis Tigers to unprecedented football success. Congratulations to our 2025 Amateur Athletes of the Year, presented by the TSSAA. Our next inductee into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame played college football at Vanderbilt prior to World War II, made all-conference, then left to serve our country. When he returned, he played pro football. He's a player that Vanderbilt is very proud to have as part of its legacy, and now he's a 2025 Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame inductee. Congratulations to the family of Jack Jenkins.
Jack Jenkins was born in Texarkana in 1921. He grew up being a very accomplished athlete in practically every sport. After seeing Vanderbilt, he decided he did not want to go anywhere else. The years of 1941 to 1943, Jack played under Red Sanders. Red Sanders was at an interview one time, who is the best player you've ever seen? And he said, well, I may not have seen the best player, but I know the best player I ever coached was Jack Jenkins.
Jack Jenkins is one of the most significant players in Vanderbilt football history when you think about the fact he was SEC Player of the Year, an All-American, and the first Commodore ever selected in the first round of the NFL Draft, which he was in 1943 by Washington. Jenkins' professional career was interrupted by World War II. He served 2 years.
From 43 to 45, he was in the service as a Marine.
After his NFL career, where he wanted to be was Nashville, and he came back to campus and served his alma mater as an assistant coach for many years.
After he retired from coaching, he married Bernadine Jenkins, and they had 3 children.
The contribution he made to athletics at Vanderbilt and the contribution that he made to the community, people respected him for who he was and what he did.
We promised you there would be a lot of Memphis in this segment, and our next 3 inductees have strong Memphis ties. Larry Keenan, basketball great at the University of Memphis in the early 70s, led the Tigers to the NCAA Finals and then spent 11 years in professional basketball. He could score. Larry Keenan is being inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2025.
Every time the ball would go up for a jump ball grab, there would be one hand that would be at least 5 or 6 inches above everyone else's, and that was Larry Keenan.
When I think of Larry Keenan, I think of went to high school here in the city of Birmingham, and great junior college player, and then he was really the big get. He was the guy that, in my estimation, kind of put Memphis State kind of over the hump.
Larry arguably is one of the best athletes, if not the best athlete that ever played at Memphis State, University of Memphis.
Larry was bouncy. You know, he was a bouncy, athletic.
Very wiry and tough. He could not only jump high, he could pass and he could shoot as good as a guard. And looking back, I wish we had him shoot more from the outside.
Keenan would block shots and catch the ball on the block, and as he was coming down, to start a fast break. So that's how good Larry Keenan was.
Keenan's the one that was kind of the difference maker in the whole thing, and getting him over the hump and helping him get to the Final Four and get to the national championship game. And then obviously transitioned to the NBA and had a great NBA career as well.
Larry had the great fortune of teaming with Dr. J, Julius Erving, and you had 2 doctors, Dr. K and Dr. J. The only thing better than Larry's playing statistics is Larry as a person. We are very blessed to have had Larry Keenan as a Tiger, and it's been an honor to know him and his family.
How about one of Larry Keenan's teammates as our next inductee? Ronnie Robinson. Well, if Larry Keenan was the scorer, Ronnie Robinson was the rebounder. In one game, 28 rebounds. For his career, over 1,000 rebounds. And yes, He helped lead Memphis to the NCAA Finals. Congratulations to Ronnie Robinson, Larry Keenan's teammate at Memphis, who's now a member of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
When I think about 1973, I think of Ronnie, left-handed, could score the ball, could rebound the ball, could defend. He was one of those guys that just kind of did a little bit of everything to help you win games.
Ronnie's strengths as a player was his rebounding skills. He still holds the record.
Ronnie was given the nickname Big Cat because he was so tall, and if the ball went up, so did Ronnie. He was excellent at his position.
That was a huge team at that time for the city of Memphis, 1973, a lot going on in the city.
It was during the time of turmoil. They brought Memphis together. Everybody had Tiger fever.
They ended up going to the Final Four. Then they had an opportunity to play for the championship. From that point on, Memphis State was on the map.
Inside, and a pivot to Robinson. Baseline jumper, 17 feet. Bingo! Robinson got
it. It was a huge thing, getting to the national championship game, and Ronnie was certainly a key piece of that team.
Ronnie was a gentle giant. He loved basketball. The University of Memphis has a memorial scholarship in his honor, as well as a perpetual basketball scholarship. He will forever be in our hearts.
Our next inductee is Priscilla Gary Sweeney. Prepped at Memphis Hamilton, multi-sport athlete, went on to Southwest Community College, and then it was basketball that took her to Kansas State, and she helped put Kansas State women's basketball on the map. Congratulations to Sweet Pea, Priscilla Gary Sweeney, an inductee in the 2025 class of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
I had an assistant coach by the name of Sally Anthony that was recruiting in Tennessee, and she went to a junior college tournament in Memphis, and she called me one night and she said, "Lynn, I found a player that can dunk the basketball." And I went, "Yeah, right, sure, Sally." We used to have coaching clinics, and the coaches in the stands would just say, "Can we see Priscilla jump?" And so at the end of the clinic, we would just let her run at the basket and grab the rim.
And at 5'5" and with a 40-inch vertical leap, dominance on the court doesn't even begin to describe her impact here at K-State. Out of high school, she had no Division I offers, and she ended up going to junior college there in Memphis, where she became the all-time leading scorer. In fact, Lynn Hickey, the women's basketball coach, was the third coach to call from Kansas State to offer her a scholarship. They wanted her to high jump, they wanted her to play volleyball and basketball, and Lynn Hickey won out. So Gary Sweeney, after playing at Kansas State, went 27 years into the Air Force, and her basketball lessons didn't stop there, because when she was in the Air Force, she was still named the Air Force Female Athlete of the Year and the Department of Defense National Female Athlete of the Year in 1988. Clearly her impact is felt as she does many things in the community there in Memphis.
An outstanding athlete, an outstanding young lady, and I'm very honored that I got an opportunity to coach at Kansas State.
Over the years, we've handed out some pretty large checks, but none have been bigger than the ones we've paid to the Order of the Students in the great state we call home. The Tennessee Lottery, proud to have raised more than $7.5 billion for education. Now that's some game-changing, life-changing fun.
He shoots, and he scores!
Welcome to the land of the free, where we pledge allegiance to the flag, salute racing's rich history, and raise a drink for the new gladiators who dare take on the last great Coliseum. The Bass Pro Shops Night Race NASCAR Playoff Weekend returns to Bristol Motor Speedway September 11th through the 13th. Get a weekend package and a camping spot and make it a weekend to remember. It's not just a night race, it's Bristol, baby.
The Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame recognizes the 2025 Amateur Teams of the Year. The Union University women's basketball team won both the regular season and postseason Gulf South Conference championships. They went to the Division II Elite Eight and finished with a record of 33-4. And on the men's side, a tie. The Chattanooga Mocs basketball team, which won the 2025 NIT championship, and the 2024 University of Tennessee baseball team, which won the College World Series and finished 60-13. When you think about Belmont basketball over the years, you think about teams that could score points. So when you think about the player who is the all-time leading scorer in Belmont history, well, that certainly means something. It's Joe Bailey, a guy who played for Belmont and could put up points like, well, I guess, nobody before him, because nobody has scored as many points as Joe. Went on to a career as a teacher, and now is in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Joe was a great teammate. Everybody loved him. He was a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but when it came time to win, you knew you could count on Joe.
He had worked really, really hard to improve his game, and he just grew into this dominant force.
He became an NAIA first-team All-American his sophomore year and repeated that, being the NAIA Player of the Year, and then first team again his senior season. Joe had a natural ability to score the basketball. We go over to Lipscomb. They are 38-1, number one in the country in the NAIA. Play them in a semifinal game, and Joe gets 58 points. And we win the game, upset them, keep them from going to the national tournament. Joe's the number one scorer in Belmont basketball history.
You look at all the numbers that he registered in his career, and they're phenomenal, and they'll last, in my opinion, forever.
Joe's remained close to the program at Belmont, became a teacher here, and continues to support Belmont basketball in so many ways.
It's always so much fun to be around him because he's got an infectious personality. Just really, really proud of all that he accomplished, and so proud of him getting this honor that's so well deserved.
Bob Brown played basketball at ETSU. One of his seasons, he averaged a double-double. His field goal percentage off the charts. After his time in Johnson City, he was off to play internationally. Made some halls of fame, including the Chattanooga Sports Hall of Fame. And now he's a teacher. And also now he's a member of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
When I first got the phone call that Bob Brown was going to be inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, I was extremely excited for Bob. He is absolutely a Hall of Fame performer.
He was one of those athletes that picked up on it very quickly.
led his high school team to the state tournament one particular year, and actually still holds the scoring record for the most points in a state tournament game of 42 points.
On the court, Bob was exceptional. If you got into basketball anywhere close to the basket, he was going to get it in the basket for you.
He was not highly recruited when he came out of high school, but when he went to the state tournament, all the Southeastern Conference schools really said, this is a guy we obviously take a chance to. And fortunately, East Tennessee State University was the one that actually signed him to a 4-year scholarship.
He was the core of the basketball team that turned that program around. And all of it started with Bob Brown at center, where he was almost a double-double machine.
He just had a great career, but when he left ETSU, he went to teaching and coaching. His strength as a coach was he used his experience as a player, and he understood not all players are alike. You can't coach them all alike.
They say Bob was a really good basketball player back in the days, but I think he's probably just as good of a teacher now. He always brings sports into his teaching, and I think the kids enjoy that. He really wants to see them succeed, not only on the basketball court, but he wants to see them succeed in the classroom too.
When I think of George Pitts, two things stand out. Teacher of the game of basketball and 7 state championships at Science Hill and Brentwood Academy. And now you think of George Pitts as a member of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
It didn't take long to figure out that he was one of the better coaches in the area. When I met him, he was here at Science Hill. They had teams that were just phenomenal.
Coach Pitts coached at Young High School in Knoxville. He was a player and a coach there. Went to East Tennessee State University and played basketball. Eventually ended up here at Science Hill High School. Went on to Brentwood Academy where he won state championships there. Then to King University and coached at the collegiate level. Now is an athletic director and coach at Providence Academy, so he's kind of come full circle in basketball.
George Pitts' strengths as a coach was connecting with us. He demanded a lot. He was very disciplined.
Coach Pitts is a guy who's going to take advantage of every opportunity. So he went to a coaching clinic and Coach Bettino was there, and that's when he found out about the black and white press.
And that press helped us score a lot of points and beat a lot of teams.
I think he won a total of 7 state championships. And he'll be the first person to tell you he's been very successful, mainly because he had great players.
Coach has been an inspiration and aspiration to me, the guys that played for him.
He saw something in me I didn't see in myself.
I really appreciate everything he's done for me and tons of other guys in our program.
Coach Pitts is just a legend, all throughout the country.
Very organized coach, disciplined, very knowledgeable, and just a great, great person.
Coach Philip Clark was an outstanding teacher of the game of baseball, as evidenced by his 5 state championships at Germantown and Bartlett. Unfortunately, we lost him just a few months ago, but we are proud to congratulate his family as Coach Philip Clark is a member of the 2025 Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame induction class.
Phil Clark was a graduate of Memphis State University. And after he graduated from Memphis State University, he went to Skyview Baptist Academy and was the head baseball coach. He had an intense desire to be successful. He won 2 state championships at the first high school that he coached at. He won 2 state championships at Germantown High School and was a runner-up a number of times.
He always had the great players in the 90s at Germantown, and people might think that's why he won, because from 1990 to 2003, it was a powerhouse at Germantown High School. But then he goes to Bartlett, okay? And we would pummel Bartlett every time we played them until he got there. He immediately went to the next year to the state tournament, got beat in the semis, then he won it the next year, then the next year got beat in the semis and won it the next year. He just took Bartlett, from where they weren't to what they are now by hard work.
He always said, practice doesn't make perfect, perfect practice makes perfect.
In less than 30 years at 3 different schools, he had 19 state tournament appearances, 5 state championships, and 7 runner-ups. Most guys dream of winning a state championship one time.
Success followed him wherever he went.
Great leaders take people maybe not necessarily where they want to go, but where they ought to be.
The things that he taught me, not only about the game of baseball, but about life in general, is astronomical.
He's a motivator, he was a friend, and a great guy.
You can pick your numbers, or your numbers can pick you. Cash 3 and Cash 4, only from the Tennessee Lottery.
Where we're from, every note tells a story. Our identity in action. Where we're from, it's not just any place. We're from the Volunteer State.
People in Tennessee are starting a movement.
Ouch. Thank you.
To clean up the litter on our roadways. Litter hurts our environment and endangers wildlife, and it affects our quality of life.
Here, grab me. Thank you.
Help keep our state litter-free.
Let's roll!
Visit NobodyTrashesTennessee.com and be a part of the solution to end littering.
Saving the best for last.
That's right. Nobody trashes Tennessee.
He shoots, and he scores!
The Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame is proud to present the 2025 Pat Summitt Lifetime Achievement Award presented by Curb Records. This year's recipient is University of Tennessee head basketball coach Rick Barnes. In nearly 40 years as a head basketball coach, Barnes has racked up 836 career victories. In 10 years at the University of Tennessee, he has elevated the program to new heights. Over the last 4 years, averaging 27 wins per season, 13 conference wins per season, 2 SEC titles, and 2 trips to the Elite Eight. Congratulations to Rick Barnes, our Pat Summitt Lifetime Achievement Award winner, presented by Curb Records. Ron Slay won't have to travel far on July 19th to be inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. The Nashville native who works in media in Nashville was an outstanding player at Pearl Cone before going on to the University of Tennessee, where eventually he was the SEC Player of the Year in 2003. Congratulations to Ron Slay, a 2025 inductee into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Ron Slay, man. If you know him, you know this, man. It's not a gym, not a
outside court, not a school, not a person he's run into that hasn't felt his impact, man. From the time that I met Ron, you knew he had a talent in basketball. You knew he was a hooper.
Slay posted up, try and get it inside to him, deflected. Hathaway behind the back to Slay. Reverse layup is good.
And if you listen to him talk about basketball, you understand his passion too. And that's how he played the game. What's really cool about his journey too, it wasn't just the state of Tennessee that felt him, at Pearl Cone and all of Middle Tennessee and across the state. His impact was felt everywhere he went. From east to west, north to south, across this place. You drop his name, people are gonna know who he is. And not just that, the opposing teams he's had to play, they may have hated him when he played in Lexington or Auburn or Alabama, but you respect the heck out of what he brought every single day and every single night that you saw him perform. And the same thing goes on his sports media side, man.
You know, out of all the former Vol athletes, VFLs that I've met, Ron, hands down, is the most popular. He's the most positive. He never left us. He brings so much energy and joy and common sense when he's on social media or whether he's on the stage at an alumni event.
And it's only fitting for him to be inducted into this. As you like to say, the car ain't got no roof. Your future has no roof, Savage, man. Congrats again.
Stephen Gostkowski was a two-sport star coming out of Madison, Mississippi when he went to the University of Memphis. He played baseball and did a very good job for the Tiger baseball team, but as a kicker, he was big time. As a matter of fact, a fourth-round draft pick of the New England Patriots, ended up spending 15 years in the NFL, where he made 86% of his kicks. One of the best to ever do it. Stephen Gostkowski, now a member of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
I'd watched Stephen. I'd seen him coming out of high school. And as far as athletic ability, he was a Division I scholarship baseball player at Memphis, and then wanted to be a part of the football program as a kicker.
A two-sport athlete in college is a rare thing, and watching his progress as a kicker was unbelievable.
He taught himself really how to be a field goal kicker and wouldn't give up on it, and got better and better and better every year. If I had to put somebody at the end of a game to win a game, it would be Stephen, because he's going to compete as hard as anybody.
He was a great athlete. You know, he made adjustments very quickly. He was always very in tune to what he was doing mechanically and how to fix things.
A guy that was going to do everything he could to make himself the best he could possibly be, and he did, and then went on to the NFL and did it there.
On the NFL draft day in 2006, I told Stephen, spend the time with your family. You pitch on Saturday, you don't need to come to the park. And he goes, no, Coach, I want to be with my teammates. It's about the fourth or fifth inning of that Sunday game. His phone rang, he stepped out behind the dugout and came back in, and he was white as a ghost. And I said, what was that? He goes, that was Bill Belichick. And our dugout erupted, and I'll never forget that moment.
He was the same guy on the field every day, and he's the same guy in life every day. He's always got a positive attitude and very involved in the lives of his family, which speaks a lot about his character.
When Shamiqua Holtzclaw was done with her career as a Lady Vol basketball player, at that point, she was probably regarded as the best player in Lady Vol history. Why? She led them to 3 straight national championships. Isn't that enough? Shamiqua Holtzclaw being inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame class of 2025.
You know, Shamiqua Holtzclaw, coming out of Christ the King High School, was the most coveted recruit in the country.
I remember hearing about Shamiqua when I was playing in an AAU tournament. Everyone was like, have you heard or seen this kid that plays at Christ the King?
I knew that I wanted to play with her because I knew she was the best.
And I remember when she announced her intentions to come to the University of Tennessee, we were all really excited because she had such a fantastic, explosive game. She was kind of like the quiet, deadly assassin because she was so smooth.
Pat Summitt would say, Shamiqua was the ground floor of making us one of the best programs at the University of Tennessee in college athletics.
She literally could have 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and didn't break a sweat.
Shamiqua had God-given talent, was a great scorer, had a beautiful jump shot, had a knack for going and rebounding, finding the basketball.
Shamiqua could do
anything on the court and do it effortlessly.
And those strengths helped us win 3 national championships. Shamika went on to have a great WNBA career, drafted by the Washington Mystics, #1 pick, was a 6-time All-Star.
One of her greatest accomplishments was sharing with the world about her challenges with depression and how she dealt with the mental illness aspect of what's going on off the court. But I think the people that she shared her story with, that's probably one of her greatest legacies.
When the Memphis Grizzlies were in the midst of making 7 straight NBA playoff appearances, the theme, grit and grind. Well, during that whole period, one player symbolized grit and grind better than any other player, and I'm talking about Tony Allen. He was known as the Grind Father. The Grizzlies just retired his number 9, and this year we're putting him in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame in the class of 2025.
Tony Allen went to Oklahoma State. He went to a Final Four. He went to the national championship game. Then he got drafted in the first round by the Boston Celtics. Played his first several years there before ending up in Memphis and becoming a legendary Memphis Grizzly player, getting his number 9 raised in the rafters. Tony Allen is one of those guys that every single night he is going to give it everything he's got on every possession. He knew he was mic'd up, and he took full advantage of it.
Hey, 3 stops in a row right here!
Looking over at the scorer's table and the announcers yelling, "First team all defense," he made the most of his mic'd up night.
First team all defense!
And then he coined the phrase, "It's all heart, grit, and grind," and one of the Mount Rushmore of the Memphis Grizzlies.
He was a grit and grind guy that had to earn everything that he got. And I think that's why he meant so much to Memphis, because he embodied Memphis.
Putting in the work, whatever it takes to get the job done. That's the kind of city that Memphis is, and Tony's that kind of guy, just as, to me, as everybody is in the state of Tennessee.
Tony Allen comes up with that steal.
Hey, he laughed all the way to the bucket.
And Tony Allen makes 20 inductees into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame class of 2025. Brad Willis, Executive Director of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. How does one get tickets or a table to be part of that great evening on July 19th?
We'd love to have you there. Go to our website, tshf.net. You can order tickets, tables, sponsorships, make a donation. You can do anything to support the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame right there at our website.
For Brad Willis, I'm Mike Keith, thanking you for joining us for the 2025 Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame induction special presented by the Tennessee Lottery. We'll see you at the dinner on July 19th.